This is Melissa here from Lehman Stove Department, and I'm going to go over with you today on the maintenance and what you need to know about purchasing a wood stove. The first thing that you need to do is make sure you get something that matches your square feet of your house. You don't want to get something too big that is going to overfire your house and you're going to have to open your windows, or get something too small where you're going to have to be overfiring the stove. The other thing that you have to remember is you don't want to get your stove too hot. We always recommend selling a thermometer with the stove, and you want to keep it between a 300 and 500 degree fire. Anything under that, you're going to get a lot of creosote, and anything over that, you're going to be warping your stove slowly. If you maintain the stove, your stove could last you 20 years or more. Now, the wood that you're going to want to use is hard, dry, seasoned wood. We usually say a year seasoned. And you want hardwood like oak, maple, birch. What we start our fires with here are we have little small pieces of wood, and then we have fire block squares, and we put them in. We either do one or two, and we put the logs on top and we start the fire. And then once the fire started, we are going to throw the bigger pieces of wood in, and this will get your fire started. Another thing that you want to remember is to clean your stovepipe as needed. If you have a lot of creosote, you may be cleaning it 3 times a year, and this would prevent chimney fires. This particular stove is the Regency 2400. Regency is a very efficient stove. You really want to get something that is efficient so you get the most heat from your wood and your wood's not going to be burned too quickly. On this Regency model, the damper's right here. Whenever you go to open your door to load your stove, you're going to make sure your damper's the whole way open. If it's not open, you're going to get a face full of smoke, and nobody wants that. Other models, the dampers are elsewhere or in your pipe. Just make sure they're always opened. When you are loading your stove, just make sure you wear your gloves because you don't want to get your hands burned. And I'll throw a little piece in here, open the door for you. And you're going to do this very slowly so you don't get a face full of smoke or ash, even with the door open. Throw this big one in here. You're going to shut your door up real tight again. And then you're just going to shut your damper so that you don't get the fire too hot. The other thing you want to remember is you want to have a nice hearth board underneath, so that you don't want to just set it on a wood floor. You want to set it on something non-combustible. And your chimney pipe, you probably will have to clean that 2 or 3 times a year, depending on what type of wood you're using and how hot you're burning your stove. You want to clean your stove out, your pipe out, so you don't get chimney fires. And you can use preventive things like creosote blocks to put in there, and it reduces your creosote. One thing you do want to remember is your stove should be installed by a professional so that you have everything that is needed, clearances. And the other thing is your chimney pipe. Make sure you clean that out when it's needed. Sometimes that's twice, sometimes that's 3 times a year. This would prevent any chimney fires from happening. This is a heat-activated fan. Once it hits about 350 degrees on top of the stove fan will start spinning. It's going to push heat into the room, and if nothing else, it is a good conversation piece.